Hold on. Hi Star Seeds, welcome back to our channel. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make the Indian Masala Dosa. You are just going to love me after watching this video and after making this recipe, because I'm telling you that this recipe is the bomb. I'm telling you. It's my favorite food in the whole world. And for those of you living in India, like Pranyanshi, Tamil, Srini, and Amit, I'm just so jealous that you get to live in a country that just knows so much about what good food really is. So before we get into the kitchen, I just want to remind you guys, my name is Irene and Greg is behind the camera, and we are here providing you with amazing, delicious plant-based recipes. So let's get into it. So there are two parts to this recipe. First, I'm going to be showing you guys how to prepare the dosa, and then I'm going to show you how to make this delicious potato filling. So this is what we're going to need. So you're going to need 2 cups of rice, and over here I'm using chickpeas. I've got a 1/3 cup of chickpeas. I've got a 1/2 cup of black lentils, and I've got a tablespoon of fenugreek seeds. So to a clean bowl, you're going to place the rice, the chickpeas, black lentils, and fenugreek seeds. Now this is a very important step that you cannot skip. We'll have to thoroughly wash the rice, chickpeas, and dal, and we need to get rid of this cloudy film. So do you see this cloudy film which is on the surface of the water? That needs to run clean. So we're discarding the water. And essentially what we're doing is soaking and then discarding the water over and over again until you get clean water. So now that the water is quite clean and doesn't have all that cloudy film on the surface, we're going to discard the water one more time and then add some fresh filtered water to it, where we will let this soak in the fresh water for 5 hours. So after 5 hours, you'll notice that the rice, black lentils, and chana masala have all swelled up. And now what we're going to do is blend this in the blender. So lastly, I'm pouring in the water, and I'm just going to fill it up to the level of rice. So now we're going to blend it up until almost creamy. You do want your mixture to have a little bit of granules inside. So you're going to place your mixture into a clean bowl. Look at that beautiful consistency. And what you're gonna do is gently mix the mixture with your hands like so. And this is supposed to aid in the fermentation process. So what you're gonna do now is cover it up with some plastic wrap and let it sit on your counter for 12 hours. And that's it. So my mixture has been sitting on the counter for 12 hours. And this is the consistency. You can see that it's thick and fermented. And what we're gonna do now is add some salt and a little bit of water just to thin out the batter. So I'm adding in about a teaspoon of salt and about 3 tablespoons of filtered water. And with a ladle, I'm just gonna mix it all up gently. You can see the consistency is changing, it's getting a little thinner. We don't want the batter to be very, very thick. So this is the consistency we want. It's pourable, but it's also thick. So our dosa batter is done. All you have to do is set it aside, cover it up, and now I'm going to show you guys how to make the delicious potato filling. The first thing we're doing is adding a 1.5 tablespoons of coconut oil or oil of your choice. And what we're going to do is just let it melt. And we need to let the oil really heat up really well, because when we add in our brown mustard seeds, we really want them to pop and sizzle and dance. I've got a teaspoon of brown mustard seeds. So those are going in. Just stir it around a little bit. They're gonna sizzle, crackle, and pop, which is what we want. And then we're gonna go ahead and add in a large chunk of fresh ginger and 2 green chilies. So we're gonna cook this for about a minute, and then we're gonna go ahead and add in the onions. I've got 2 onions here that I've chopped up. So we are adding in a 1.5 teaspoons of turmeric powder. So now you're gonna give it a mix, and you're gonna let this cook until the onions are nice and translucent. I would say about 7 minutes. So it's been 7 minutes and our onions are nicely cooked. It smells absolutely delicious in here, and the essence of India is emanating from this saucepan. So the next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and add in our potatoes. I've got 8 small potatoes here that have been boiled and peeled and cut into small slices. I'm gonna be adding in 1.5 teaspoons of chili powder, salt to taste, and a few sprigs of coriander leaves. So we're just gonna give this a good toss. Oh yeah, smells wonderful. So what we're gonna do is add a little bit of water to this just to bind all the ingredients together so that it turns into somewhat of a mash. So now that we have added the potatoes, we're just gonna keep stirring it, and we wanna cook this for about 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, you'll probably find that the potatoes are sticking to the bottom of the pan. What we're gonna do is add in about 1/2 liter of water, and this will sort of deglaze the pan and also bring the potatoes together in a way where it will be sort of in a mash consistency. And what you can do now is get out your masher or a fork and just try and mash everything together. So after 10 minutes of cooking and mashing and stirring, this is the consistency you want. You can see that all the water has reduced and the mixture has thickened, and it will further thicken once it cools down. So what we're gonna do is turn off the heat, set this aside, and let it cool down before we start frying our dosas. So now that our dosa batter is ready and our masala filling has cooled down, I am about to show you guys how to assemble this amazing Indian masala dosa. Let's do it. So I've got a large frying pan here, and I've just turned up the heat to, what does it say here? 150 degrees Celsius. And what I'm gonna do is take a little bit of water and splash it onto the pan, clean it off with a tea towel. Using my ladle, I'm taking some of the batter, placing it into the center, and making circular motions like so. So you can see that some bubbles are forming and the batter is drying out. Once you see that it's starting to dry out on the outside of the batter, you can go ahead and add in a little bit of olive oil, just like that. As much or as little as you like, really. So you can see that the edges of the dosa are coming off, which is great. So now what we're gonna do is add a little bit of coriander. We're going in with a little bit of the masala potato stuffing. And now you can just loosen the sides, make sure that it's not sticking, like that. So I'm just gonna quickly roll it, like so. And just let it cook on the bottom. That's it. So all I'm gonna do is cut it in half. And this is what it looks like. Delicious and crispy. So my Indian masala dosa is ready, and it's holding together quite nicely, and it's nice and crispy. I'm gonna take a bite for you guys. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's crazy because the actual dosa, the consistency of the dosa really feels like bread. It's got a very bready texture in a way, but at the same time, listen to this. So crispy on the outside, a little bit tender on the inside, and the spices from the potato filling are just delicious, and I'm dropping my filling all over the place, but it's so good. You can actually pair this up with any kind of chutney. I didn't have any chutney on hand, so I have ketchup. So before you place your batter onto your hot pan, you want to make sure that you sprinkle some cold water onto your hot pan and wipe it off with a tea towel. This is a very important step. You don't want to skip it. Also, I think this recipe makes around 8 dosas. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. It's absolutely wonderful. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, because you know that we're here every single week. Smash that like button, hit that notification bell so you can be notified every single time we upload a video. And we will see you guys very soon for the next recipe.